President Trump delivered his farewell speech last night. And then just this morning, about maybe 30 minutes ago, he just finished the kind of farewell send-off speech as well. They had a crowd of a few hundred people there. You had Don Jr., his entire family. Everybody was there off to the side. And then he flew off, and he is now currently in the way, or in the progress at least, of making his way to Florida, to Palm Beach. And really what I'm wanting to talk about is a little bit of what was said in these speeches. Now, he was giving the first one last night, which is kind of your run-of-the-mill send-away farewell speech, and I know that there's a lot of animosity and a lot of mixed feelings going on right now. There's a lot of people that feel that he has given up, and that they've kind of given up on Trump himself, and I don't really agree with that notion. Now, kind of the first part of what he was basically, or some of the main statements and takeaways from the speech last night was, as I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, I stand before you truly proud of what we have achieved together. We did what we came here to do, and so much more. And he kind of goes through the accomplishments, the achievements, the things that set Trump apart from any other president or politician. He goes on to say, we must never forget that while Americans will always have our disagreements, we as a nation of incredible, decent, faithful, and peace-loving citizens who all want our country to thrive and flourish and be very, very successful and good. We are a truly magnificent nation. And he goes through a bit of the accomplishments with COVID-19, Operation Warp Speed, different tax reductions, the fact that they haven't started a war, a new war at all. And then kind of digs into cancel culture as well a little bit. But the big thing that I'm taking away from all of this is I don't think that there's anything that Trump can really do at this point to turn it around. And that's why he's leaving it off kind of in this way. Because you have to put yourself in Trump's shoes at this point. I know so many people that are saying, well, he could do this and he could do that, and then there's this, and then there's this other thing, and there's this theory that he could possibly... Look, the gist of all of this is that it's over. It's been over for a while, but the truth is that regardless of whether you feel like he's giving up or not, I don't think that he's given up. It's just the smartest political movement that he can make at this point. Right now, or before January 6th, there were so many things that he was doing to fight for the fairness of this election, to show and prove that he truly did win it. And now, after January 6th, there's nothing really that he can do. And we can come up with 1,000 theories about what he could possibly do, but it doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. And I don't want that to be the legacy that a lot of people or the idea that they have of Trump in their mind, because Trump has the ability to really make something great out of this. I know that he will. And I think we need to start looking at the bigger picture. There's not much else that he can really do at this point. So the fact is where do we stand as a nation? Where are we at this point in time? Right now, Trump has the opportunity to continue this MAGA movement, to continue to allow for us to understand the reason why we elect certain politicians and why we don't elect certain politicians. That he was kind of this big reminder that presidents haven't done much of anything. That politicians that have told you that they'll fight for you had just simply gave up on you and chose not to do anything. Now is the time that Trump can actually show us that, and he needs us to remember the legacy that he's left behind, especially considering the fact that the first 100 days of the Biden presidency, which I covered on the show not too long ago, is just going to be turning everything that Trump did and basically reversing all of it. That's basically the Biden 100-day plan. You had on Twitter, he's gone, trending on Twitter today, and this is the reason why Twitter's biased. Most of the users on Twitter are entirely biased and want Biden to be in office. and they don't care about anything that he's done. They don't care about election integrity as long as they get what they want. That's basically the gist of how they view what's going on in the current political landscape. So I basically just wanted to say that Trump is a pivotal figure in so many ways. And this isn't the time. I don't think there really is a time that we can sit there and say, well, he's given up. I just think that he's realized that there's nothing else that can really be done at this point. And it's best to go out in a respectful way, regardless of how we know how Trump feels. When Trump's off the cuff, he tells us exactly how he feels. He was telling us that this entire time for the past 4 years. And I think his advisors and many other people probably told him, look, right now, we need to just be the bigger and better man here. We need to be and remain respectful of the next administration that's coming in, because all the stop the steal stuff, all the rhetoric about that and everything else that's been going on is kind of useless at this current point in time, because there's not much of anything else that can be done about it. So I'm optimistic. At the end of Trump's speech this morning, he basically said, we're not done. We'll be back. And I think that's a good sign. I think it's a great sign for what is to come. And I think that the MAGA movement is much bigger than Trump himself. And it's allowed for us to see that, once again, these politicians that we've elected in the past, some of them have fought for us, some of them have not. And now it's time to say, okay, what are we going to do? What's our future plan? To me, that plan simply lies in primarying the people that have refused to fight for us in the way that they should be, and to turning off the mainstream media, turning away from Twitter, turning away from Facebook, these other places, and letting this movement thrive on sites that care about free speech, that care about the United States and as a whole. That's where we need to be turning our attention to. If anything was done here, the fact is that if the media didn't attack Trump and slam him, basically slandering him for 4 years straight, I don't care how many Dominion glitches there were. I don't care how many people that felt a certain way about Trump or didn't like the way what he said. I don't care how much of that was happening. If the media didn't slam Trump for 4 years straight, and if social media allowed for him to post and tweet without suppressing what he was saying, there would have been so many Trump votes, it wouldn't have mattered how much fraud that President Trump had. And I believe he won already. But imagine what it would have been if the media was not directly contributing to him not, or if the media wasn't directly contributing to all of this, all of the lies. How many people voted for Biden because they thought Trump said something that he never said? How many people voted for Biden because the mainstream media told them to? That's the real question we need to ask. So if we want to change this doesn't stop with just Trump. It really doesn't. It goes beyond that, at least in my opinion. It starts with us getting off of these YouTube sites, go to Rumble, get on Parler when it's back up, get on Gap. Let's start our own thing and continue our movement away from these stupid big tech idiots that have been monumental in swaying this entire election. With that being said, we are the new media. We have to be our own new media. We can't rely on these people anymore. And for all those other people that are and I'm talking about the conservative influencers that will remain on Twitter and continue to attack Trump, it's already happening. Just watch your Twitter feed, folks. Watch for the people that are supposedly conservative turn on Trump now because it's convenient. Just pay very close attention. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's already kind of happening. But with that being said, let's move forward into a new movement, this movement away from the GOP, maybe a movement to actually primary these people, and a movement to invest in the new media, because we can't rely on these people that have effectively, it's not just one thing. It's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of how this election was stolen. And we need to remember the legacy that Trump was able to have with all of that stuff going on. So with that being said, I thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.